Hello, teachers. This is the instruction guide for week 5, primary 3. So for this lesson, there are 3 books, right? But we are going to focus only on the first 2. The third one, I will explain later if there's time. You may go through some of the questions with the students, but it's not necessary to assign that as homework, right? Because it is repetitive in some sense. So the first book is on multiplication with regrouping. And this book emphasizes on multiplying with regrouping once. So you probably have an idea now that the second one the second booklet would then be about multiplying with regrouping more than once. Okay, so what we do here is, of course, we start off with something simple first, right? I think last week, right, we did multiplication without regrouping. So students should be able to know that, for example, a trigger activity, right, that you might want to get them to think about is 64, right? Oh, sorry, let me get my pen ready. All right, so 64 times 2 is actually 60 times 2, right? And then plus, yeah, I don't want a space here, right? 4 times 2, right? So to show them that the reason why we're doing this, right, it's actually similar to the method that we're going to teach them. Okay, so it's just a trigger activity for them to think about what they can do with multiplication. Okay, so for the regrouping, they have to understand, and if let's say you find it easier to explain with the place value, which I always do, right? I might do it this way instead. So this is ones, this is tens, and this is hundreds. So the language used is very important. Right here, we are saying 4 ones times 2, right? So 4 ones times 2, right? 4 ones times 2 ones equals 8 ones, which is why 8 is under here. Okay, and then 2 times 6, right? Oh, sorry, it's not 2 times 6. It's 2 times 6 tens, right? So 2 times 6 tens will give you 12 tens. Okay, so the use of the language is very important in this case. Let's move on to the next page. Now, here we will start to deal with regrouping if you need to, if you notice, right? Especially when it takes at the ones place. So let's start with this one here, 18 times 4. All right, what is 8 ones? Again, you might want to draw this line at the start, right, to get students to understand what is going on. So 8 ones times 4, right? 8 ones times 4 ones times 4 is equals 32 ones. So what do we do with 32 ones, right? We have to write 2 here, and then 3 here, 3 tenths. 32 ones is 2 ones and 3 tenths. Okay, and then we move on to multiply 1/10, right, by 4. So 1/10 by times 4 is 40. So it is important for, which is why I'm doing it a place value. Sorry, I'm drawing out the place value, is to get students to understand, right? This is the part that usually students will get it wrong. Some students will write 4 here instead, right? 1 times 4. So hence it's important for you to emphasize that, hey, this is actually 1/10 times 4, which gives you 40, which is why we write 4 here and 0 here. Okay, all right. So that's the main so-called skill that we need to learn here. So some of this, right, you might want to move on to other examples like with 3 digits, what is going on here, right? So the explanation, again, if you want to draw the place value lines, which are highly encouraged. Okay, so there you go. 2 ones times 4 gives you 8 ones. 4 ones, 5 ones times 4 gives you 20 tenths, right? So how do you write 20 tenths? This is the wrong way to write 20 tenths, of course. This is not 20 tenths, right? This is just 2 tenths. So 20 tenths, right? You'll write that 0 here, and the 2 tenths you will regroup as, all right? The 20 tenths will be regrouped as 200ths, which is right. Well, why you write the 2 here? So 200ths plus 100. Sorry, 200. Then you go 100 times. I made a mistake here. So 100 times 400. 100 times 4. I beg your pardon. equals to 400. Okay, and then 400 plus 200 here, you get 600s. So remember that as you explain this, please do not just say 2 times 4 equals 8. 4 times 5 equals 20. So you put 2 here and you carry forward. Do not use this kind of language. Okay. And then finally, 1 times 4. Please don't say 1 times 4 equals 4, then 4 plus 2 equals 6. No. Right. So the language that you need to use is 100 times 4 equals 400. 400 plus 2 here, 200 equals to 600. Okay. So for this lesson, right, emphasis is using the right language to teach them that. Okay. So after teaching this, you can get them to complete all the guided practice. Okay, and then the rest of the independent practice is quite straightforward. So what I usually do is to really skip forward, or rather to just jump forward. So perhaps page 13 will be good to do, right? To get them to do the regrouping, right? With 3-digit. Okay, if students are not so comfortable yet, you may get them to try 2-digit first, right? And then after that, moving to 3 digits. Okay. Once you see that they are comfortable doing it, right? Because remember that this is still scaffolded. Okay, so they should be able to do a question like that, 347 times 2, and they need to write this out or do this table multiplication out, right, on their own. Okay, so make sure that they can do this on their own, right? Okay, the rest, if you notice, right, are just repetition, which you can assign as homework later, right? But for this, I would say that please don't assign too many questions for them because it's repetitive. I also have a test in place for them, so there will be too much homework, right? Even though it's a public holiday next week, right? For some of the, for actually just for the Sunday classes, right? So not much of a holiday, right? For those who are taking a class on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Okay, so now the other question that you need to do at least one with them is the word product. Okay, they may have learned it in the primary 2, or like then again maybe not. So they have to understand that product means multiply. So find the product of 27 times 3 or 426 times 2. It means 426 multiplied by 2. Okay, so get them to do at least one question so that they know that product means that. So when you assign question, right, actually you can just assign those with the product ones. If they can do these questions, they can do the earlier ones as well. Okay. These are some interesting questions which you can maybe take them through, right, for one question. Okay, and then word problems. Okay, do one with them. Okay, I would suggest on page 23, you can either do question 7 or question 8. Emphasize that they need to write the equation out and then the statement. Okay, and the rest can be assigned as homework. Okay, and this is for book 1. Right, now let's do book 2. Okay, so for book 2, it is regrouping more than once. Okay, so you can see here we start off with something very simple. 76 times 2. They need to regroup more than once. Right, first is 6 ones times 2 equals to 12 ones. So you regroup 10. You regroup the 10 ones, the 2 ones you put here. Regroup 10 ones as 110, and then 7 tens times 2 equals to 14 tens. 14 tens plus the 110, you get 15 tens. All right, keep the language consistent, right? Always, as you explain the multiplication process, use the place value, right? Make sure that you incorporate the place value. Okay, so same thing here. You might want to quickly go through this with them. Right here, you have 5 ones times 3 equals to 15 ones. So you put 5 ones here and 110 here, and then 4 tens times 3. All right, equals to 120, or rather 12 tens, sorry. Right, so 12 tens is 120. Okay, so you can do the regrouping on the well, this is actually, if you decide to write it on the blackboard, right, then you can actually save the trouble of just going through this step by step. Right, so sometimes I will even just do it, as a whole. Right, so for example, using this, right? 3 ones times, sorry, 5 ones times 3 equals to 15 ones, right? So you put a 110 here, okay? And then 4 tens times 3, okay, equals to 12 tens. 12 tens plus this 110 here, you get 13 tens. So here you put the 3 tens, right? And then the 110 you got to regroup as 100 and put it over here, right? And then 300 times 3 equals 900. 900 plus another 100, you get 10 hundredths. Okay, so make sure, again, I keep emphasizing, explain this using the place value. Okay, and then as per normal, right, they do the guided practice. They may do one or two of these questions on their own. Okay, followed by again product. They should understand what product is by now. Okay, and then you might want to do question 6 with them. Okay, which requires them to do it step by step. Right, use digits given below to form the greatest 2 digit. So for the first test is on what is the greatest 2 digit odd number. So this will be good activity to do with them. Okay, and then yeah, right. So 1 question. The rest can be done as homework. Okay. As I mentioned, there's a third book, right? So let's take a look at the third book. So for the third book, right, I'm not going to make it compulsory. This is what I'll suggest for students who have a lot of corrections, right, from the previous work. Please get them to do the corrections first. Right? Oh, sorry, this is not the book. Let me stop share and let me show you again. The third book is this one. Right, open it up. Yep. Okay, so you will have students who have corrections that are not clear yet. Make use of this time because the first 2 booklets, I think you probably need you don't need a lot of time to finish it. Okay, so the remaining time, those who have done corrections, those who have not done their corrections yet, they can work on their corrections for the previous week homework. Those who have already done with the corrections, right, they can try out some of the independent practice here. Okay, so you can see some repeated questions. I can get them to work on word problems or anything, right? But these need not be assigned as homework. Okay, a good question that is good, that is nice for them to try, right, would be question 9 on page 13. Okay, so again, this particular booklet is not compulsory. Okay, and you do not have to assign this to them as homework, right? Just put it aside once they are done. And then next week, we may follow up on this if we have extra time as well. Okay, so that's the lesson plan, right, for week 5 for primary 3 students. That's all for now. Thank you.